So the Philadelphia Eagles get the job done yet again. They take down the Patriots 14-13 here in the second preseason game. But more importantly, a couple guys standing out amongst the rest. A couple guys finalizing those positional battles. And one player who is shocking everyone who should be a lock at his position. We'll talk about all of it and more right here on A to Z Philly. But do me a favor if you're tapping in, like the video if you enjoy the content. And be sure to subscribe to the channel as we keep you up to date on the Birds every single day. And honestly, like I said in the last preseason game, there's just not really that much to talk about, right? You're going out there. The Birds didn't even play more than, I think, one or two starters last night. Saw a couple familiar faces, but overall, after that joint practice, we thought that there may be a chance that starters get in, but Nick Sirianni said that the joint practice was so extensive and so intensive that there was really no need to play. So if you were one of the sickos last night watching this game, shout out to you. And most importantly, the biggest takeaway I had last night, other than I think the Eagles missed an opportunity with going to get Judon as he was traded to the Falcons, is that they have their QB2. And it is not the player that they made a trade for this past offseason. No, it is Tanner McKee, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot stress this enough, okay? Tanner McKee is QB2. And we'll talk about a little bit of controversy here, but I think McKee is so good and so much beyond Kenny Pickett at this point. And obviously a little bit younger as well, but Tanner McKee is just solid. He's exactly what you need in a backup. Simply put, he's not going to come right in and try to do too much, right? He's not going to go and try to win you the game on one play. He's just going to do his job. And that's what I like about Tanner McKee. He reminds me a little bit of Nick Foles, where he's not the most athletic. He can't run out of the pocket, but he does have a nice spiral on his throw. And, he just comes in and can hit you a 5-yard slant or hit you a 5-yard out route. Simple, man. He just knows the game. He's very smart. And if he had a little more upside on his athleticism, I think he could be a really, really good quarterback, but he's just a quality backup. And I went into last preseason thinking to myself, why is this guy not getting the reps over Mariota? When I saw Mariota last preseason throw one ball 20 yards, over I think it was a flat route, I was like, this guy cannot play anymore. Tanner McKee comes right in, and last night he comes back in the fourth quarter after Greer had an injury, and Tanner McKee leads his team right down the field on a game-winning drive. They get the touchdown, and he finishes 15 for 19 with 140 yards. There is no more competition, in my opinion. He should be QB2, and I think this kid is really good. I think he actually has potential to be in the league for a long time. However, Nick Sirianni might disagree. He said after the game that Kenny Pickett is going to be the number 2 quarterback no matter what, and that Tanner McKee is the number 3. Do you guys agree with that? I think it's a huge mistake, and we'll see what happens in the next preseason game or throughout practice, but there's no reason that you go with Kenny Pickett over McKee, right? Good story, hometown kid, and grew up an Eagles fan. He just doesn't have it. And this is why the Steelers were willing to part with him the way that they did. So Tanner McKee is probably my biggest winner from last night. And in addition to that, we'll go on the other side on Tyler Steen. He is the biggest loser. Tyler Steen last night came out of the game yet again with an ankle injury. I think he was actually carted off at the time being. I don't think it's that serious. But this guy had injuries in college. He comes into the NFL. The Eagles are trying to get him into game shape. He comes into camp with really the biggest open competition there is, or maybe one of the top 2 or 3. All he has to do is go out there and be viable, and he has been anything but. Tyler Steen is not ready to be the starting right guard on this team. He's not healthy enough. He has the talent. He has the upside for sure. He played at a great school. He knows what he's doing, but he just cannot stay on the field right now. And you got to feel bad for the kid. It's a tough break. Hopefully he can find a way to stay healthy going into the season or maybe next season. But right now, it looks like it's going to be Mekhi Becton's job to lose because he is listed as a starting right guard. Sirianni all but said that Becton is going to have the job right now. You look at the Eagles O-line, Mailata, Dickerson, Juergens, Becton, and Johnson. Jimmy Kempski here says it has to be the biggest O-line in the NFL, maybe ever. These guys are absolute monsters. I'm still not 100% confident on Becton. He had a couple really good training camp practices, but it's now his job. I don't think Tyler Steen has any shot to really be the starter unless he gets super healthy and, can somehow make a comeback here in the final couple weeks of practice and camp. Couple other winners we'll talk about from last night, because again, there just was not a lot going on. Nakobe Dean had a 90 PFF grade versus the Pats. He was the highest graded player last night. Eagles still kind of evaluating that linebacker position. I thought Trotter had a decent game as well. Big fan of Jeremiah Trotter Jr. We'll see who can step up, but right now it obviously feels like it's in the hands of Zach Bond and Devin White. Definitely something to keep our eyes on. And Kelee Ringo, in my opinion, has now separated himself after yet another quality game. Kelee Ringo has been tested 4 times this preseason in tight coverage to the boundary, and he has only allowed 1 catch with 2 quality deflections. He has made some really big plays in his preseason. He has separated himself like Vic Fangio said somebody would. I still like Isaiah Rodgers. I think he might end up being a quality slot corner for this team, depending on what they want to do with Quinyon Mitchell. But Kelee Ringo, in my opinion, is going to be CB2, and he's earned that job here in training camp. Another big winner from this preseason so far. And lastly, Anthony DeBona says Jalix Hunt has outplayed Nolan Smith in 1.5 preseason games for the Eagles. Jalix Hunt, a 3rd round, really a kind of a question mark, a little bit of uncertainty there just because we don't have a lot of tape on him due to the school he went to. But right now he has played pretty good in this preseason. Is he ready to be a day one guy? I don't know about that. But right now he is outplaying Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith has a lot of questions to answer. And really the Eagles front 4 on the defensive side, I think, is going to end up being a bigger question than we may have thought it would. And obviously we need Carter and Davis to step up. Like, those, in my opinion, are the swing pieces. If they can have, 8, 9, 10 sack seasons, I think the Eagles are in a much better situation, but they're going to need some of these young players to step up. So a guy like Jalix Hunt playing as good as he is right now in the preseason, might end up getting him a lot more snaps, in the first 4, 5, 6 weeks, depending on how things go. But that's really where we're at from last night. Couple big winners, 1 big loser. But Tanner McKee has to be the backup quarterback on this team. He has earned it, and he looked incredible and helped lead this Eagles team back in the game to a game-winning drive. Give me all your thoughts on this game down below. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, I'll catch you on the next one.
Tap into BetMGM Casino, and you're entering a huge library full of exclusive games. Games you won't find anywhere else. Looking for jackpots? Right this way. You'll always find someone ready to give you a hand. Or some dice. Your favorite game is waiting for you. On BetMGM Casino.